We did it. We're here.
Thanks for having
But
me.
we didn't do it yet.
We're doing it.
We just started.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we talked about it for a little bit. Shout out to Art too, because he put the
Art's great. We love art.
Yeah, we love art.
Yeah.
We love art. Michelle.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Michelle.
Because it's spelled uniquely.
It is. It's spelled like Michael in French, but you say Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you are my neighbor.
I am.
My neighbor, few doors down.
Mm-hmm.
Few doors down, Hunting Orchard.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get into how that all began, but I know there's a lot more history prior to that. And listen, I just want to get to know you. We just talked for damn near a podcast.
Yeah, an hour.
An hour. But yeah, your vibe is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've had a lot of success in this industry. I know you've been through a lot, the ups, the downs. I think it'd be really cool for people to hear your story. Sure. And so, the where do we begin? Tell me about you. Where'd you grow up?
Okay.
Yeah, where'd you grow up? Let's start there. Are you from Jersey?
No, well, sort of. So we moved to Jersey when I was in 6th grade. I was born in Manhattan.
Okay.
And came out to Jersey in 6th grade. We moved to Saddle River. Went to school there. Went to high school there. And then my mom moved to Woodcliff Lake, where I live now. And then I went to Rutgers, so I stayed in Jersey.
Nice.
Love Jersey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I stayed in Jersey, moved home from school. We lived in Ridgewood for a little while, and then we moved here in Woodcliff Lake.
How was living, like, born in Manhattan? Like, so many people move to Manhattan because of work or, whatever.
Sure.
So like, you are in Manhattan. When did you move from Manhattan to?
So we moved to Rockland when I was in elementary school.
Oh, young. Okay.
Yeah. But my father was a doctor. He had his own practice in the city. So they commuted back to the city all the time. My dad is like a born and raised New York City kind of guy. Yeah. And like bagels are better in Manhattan. Life's better in Manhattan. Like
that argument is forever.
So Saturday mornings we were back in Manhattan getting bagels and hanging out. So I mean, the city is a big deal for me. The day I got my driver's license, I drove back to the city because that's
just because
what I knew was New York. Yeah. And even
funny.
going to Rutgers, the appeal was that it was affordable. I would be in state, but I could go to the city on the weekends. I could go to shows in the city, music in the city, clubs in the city. Yeah,
New York is an interesting place. I'm so Jersey. I guess we all say this. I'm so New York. I couldn't live in Jersey, whatever. But like, I'm so Jersey that I couldn't. Born and raised. And I love the city. I have a love-hate relationship with the city, obviously. But yeah, I couldn't imagine living in the city personally. And so I'm always like, I know a bunch of people who were born and raised in Manhattan. So I'm always curious, like, what's it like as a young kid not having the suburbs around you? I mean, I guess you can.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the culture's just there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even now going back to New York, people dress, like, their outfits are so amazing and, the food's so good.
So good.
So I feel like, we're so lucky to live here and have that because we get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're here, like, the new restaurants that open up in town, you're like, oh, this is like being in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And that's like a appeal to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like New York's just, I've been so influenced by it. I've been so inspired by it. I've spent so much time there. I feel like it's amazing.
Yeah. New York is, if you've never been and you go to New York and you're in it for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is
So
this?
my husband's from Ohio.
Oh God.
So I feel like I'm the city girl and he's the country boy. Yeah. But I mean, he'll never love it like I love it, but he can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't love it, but I've showed him what to love.
Where in Ohio?
He grew up right outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and is Cleveland, it's a city, obviously.
Yeah.
Is it how, I mean, it's not New York, but like buildings, the this, the that.
Yeah, so he
been?
grew up on like country farmlands outside of Cleveland. That was the major city. That's where like the hospitals were and stuff like that. He grew up like working on the farm. They had 40 acres out there.
Oh, wow.
He's
a farm boy. You married a farm boy.
I did. I married a farm boy. He's into music and he was in music since he was like 19. So I feel like that was
like acoustic guitar.
No, he plays every instrument.
Does he?
Yeah, he plays electric guitar.
I just stereotyped the hell out of farm boy.
You did. He's cool. He's a real cool guy. Yeah. I mean, he definitely couldn't wait to get out of Ohio. He moved to Jersey when he was 19.
Okay.
Yeah. So he started working for a music company out in Ohio, and they moved him to Jersey.
Got you.
So he moved to Jersey, then he went to Florida, then he came back to Jersey. We met in Jersey.
Happy to be in Jersey? Does he like New Jersey?
Yeah. He never. I mean, his parents have since moved to Massachusetts, and we never went back to Ohio.
Okay.
So yeah, he likes Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey is. I just love it. I do agree with you though when it comes to New York food. I mean, I don't think that we fall far from how good. I think we have great food around here.
Yeah.
But when you're walking down the street in Manhattan, on the sidewalk,
the pizza's good.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Totally.
Yeah, awesome restaurants. All right, so you went to Rutgers. Studied.
I got my BFA in fine art, so I have a concentration in painting, and I got my BA in art history. So
do you draw your own tattoos?
No. All my tattoos are traditional art. They like literally come out of a book almost.
Really?
Yeah.
You go and pick, you like it, and
I mean, I've go to traditional tattoo artists that draw traditional tattoos, but like, nothing is really invented again.
How many sessions?
Oh, I have been getting tattooed for 23 years.
Yeah. You're covered.
Yeah, I got a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
I love tattoos.
I do too. I want a sleeve. Eventually I want a sleeve.
Do it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you should do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'll give you some good artists.
Give me some good artists.
Because like the tattoo world is so saturated, like every kind of culture right now, but you got to go to like the right people.
I do. I want like the fine. I like
fine
the fine line.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not into fine line, but yeah. I mean,
I'm not opposed to other things. You know why I think fine line is because I do small pieces. Everything I've done is just like, these are my logos, but like, I just do small things. I have birds and on an olive branch here. And
for me, I feel like, traditional tattoos have been around for, I guess almost 100 years, since the 20s, 30s. And I wanted something that would stay classic. Like I didn't want to be a 70, 80-year-old lady with these tattoos that didn't have like meaning. So fine line's super trendy right now. Maybe we'll hold the test of time. But the thing about fine line is it's what's cool right now.
Yeah.
So like tribal, like all those cool things that were so cool, but they did run their course.
They ran their, like the bar
and some tramp stamps.
There's some people out here.
I mean,
there's some people out here who
my husband was born in Ohio. You see some of his tattoos.
Make sure they wear sleeves as often as possible.
But we've been along together a long time now. So
yeah.
But yeah, you just you got to be careful following a trend. Like anything, you got to be careful following a trend.
Like anything.
Yeah.
It's also a stamp. It's like it's like part of your history, part of your story. So even if it is, I try to validate it as much as I possibly can. Like, it was just a moment in time.
Totally.
I branded my chest. Long story short, I'll tell you that story. But I have like, I mean, I could tell it, but if we're gonna save the time. So yeah, I've done things that worse than tattoos.
Yeah. Okay. But you can cover it, and no one can see it. No one knows.
Yeah.
Unless you're at the beach.
Yeah. And it's fine now. It's fine now. Kind of.
It's not. We were crazy back then.
It's a story.
It's crazy.
It's a great story. What the hell happened there? Like, did you look like you get shot? I'm like, nah. I don't know how to explain this. Is it worse? Whatever.
Oh all
right. So you're in Rutgers. You study. Graduated.
Graduated Rutgers.
Graduated Rutgers, and obviously you didn't really. Did you take your degrees and do anything with it, or?
Oh man. So I was going to go right off to grad school. I was going to get my master's in art history. I applied to Sotheby's. It's they have a small institute in their New York store office, and I got in. It was like 6,000 applicants. They're 40 picked. I got in. I had already started a t-shirt brand that was pretty successful. Like, and we could talk about how to rate.
It was just for fun.
I mean, I was selling at festivals. I started an online store already. So I had started a t-shirt brand, and in my interview told them that. And the stipulation upon going to grad school was that I had to it was a 1-year accelerated program. I had to be full-time involved, and I had to give up the business. And I mean, the business wasn't very old. Maybe it was a year and a half, but it was doing something.
Yeah.
And I just was like, no, like,
wow.
I gotta, yeah.
That's a big decision.
It was, because I really thought I was like going to work for Sotheby's. Like this was going to get me in the art world. This is what I wanted. I mean, I went to Rutgers, went to Mason Gross at Rutgers. They really taught you how to be a fine artist. So to work for Sotheby's, to work in that is like, you graduated the gallery world, like you got in. I worked for Art and Auction magazine at the time. So like, it was like very cool what I was doing. But I went to my mom and I was like, what do you think? And my mom was a pretty good voice of reason. She'd always been a good voice of reason. And she was like, if you love what you're doing, do it.
It's huge.
Yeah.
At that time too, because you were 22, 3?
No, I was just graduating. I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah,
you were graduated early? Are you smart?
No, I'm July. I'm just young. I'm just a young baby. As all my friends start getting into their 40s, I'm like, I'm the baby.
Yeah.
So she was like, I already had a job. I was already a spa director for Spa up the street on Broadway.
Wow.
And so I already had like some money coming in. Like I wasn't like looking for a job. And I was building something. Like I was really passionate about being an entrepreneur. Like I was happy working all day, going out with my friends and coming home at 11 o'clock at night and working, working till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, waking up at 6 and working. Like
you enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
What was the rush? Was it a rush? Like what was it that you liked? Was it just, what was the fulfillment?
I've still at 40, at 19, at 22, like it was always like, where could this go? What could this get me? Where could this go?
Yeah. That's unique though. You know that.
Yeah. But I've always had that hustle drive. I was in high school selling on eBay and like looking for cool stuff to sell on eBay. Like I always had that flipper mentality, that like what's cool, like what could I find? Like I've always been a hustler like that. Always.
Wow. Yeah. That's very unique. Yeah. I mean, we relate on that for sure. But I when I look around, like a lot of people don't. It's like they want to.
Yeah.
Like deep down, they do. They want to. Maybe they don't know what that thing is yet, totally. or they're scared, or they're fearful of what people might think. I mean, there's a million reasons why people don't go and chase like their dreams or their, you know.
A lot of people have that entrepreneurial spirit, but don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like what to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what it meant, but I think I had some sort of passion and
you felt it.
I was happy doing it. Like I remember it being like Labor Day week and Memorial Day week and all my friends were in Brooklyn partying. And like I had the t-shirt company and if I had orders, I'd stay home and package those orders.
See, that's even more unique.
Yeah. Like I was young. I played hard, but I worked hard and I always was kind of like that.
Did you have a name for this company?
It was called Heroin Clothing.
That's a cool name.
It was with an
Where'd that come from?
Female hero. It was just cool. I don't know. I just thought it was really unique.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it was
that
cool.
has a ring to it.
Yeah. So
bring it back.
I mean, I used to get emails from people that were like, do you really sell drugs? And I'm just like, oh, nobody can read. Yeah. So I had that company for like 4 years. I did it with my ex though. So when we broke up, it was who took the company.
Yeah, can't go with that anymore.
No. So that was kind of, I put the company behind me and I moved on to the next and I started something else.
What was the next?
So the next was called Gypsy Warrior and it was a jewelry company based on Etsy. So I was making jewelry, selling jewelry for about maybe like 6 months. And then my best friend at the time worked for Ford Models and she was like, I want to leave. I want to do something. And I was like, let's add clothes to Gypsy Warrior. What can we do? So she left her job. We started working together full time and Gypsy Warrior started evolving into more of a lifestyle brand where we were bringing in vintage and new jewelry, more jewelry, accessories. And then it snowballed into more fashion and fashion brand things as that first year or two went on. Wow.
So when you go from, you were making the jewelry, you yourself were making the jewelry? Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then when you pivoted and you and your friend come together, how does that all work? Like, how are you sourcing what you're grabbing? I mean, how does,
So when we first initially like 2008, so I'm 2 years out of college, we just start going to like thrift stores, antique shops, all over. So down at Rutgers, there was an amazing thrift store, amazing thrift shops. And we'd find just great designer stuff, great, cool dresses and vintage. And we were styling it and selling it mostly on eBay at that moment. We then pivoted over to a website, but we were selling on the website and on eBay until about end of 2009. And then we had brought on an intern, another intern. We were in my mom's basement.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, we had no money.
I love that.
Yeah, we had no money. We put a couple $100 in each, but that was really how it started. And we were like, all right, and what we were making, we were putting back into the bank. We weren't paying ourselves.
Yeah.
We were like, what are we doing with this?
Yep.
So end of 2009, we're like, we need a store. We need an office. We need something. And we were doing okay. I mean, in the moment, I didn't even know what okay was. I didn't know what good was. I didn't even know... at this point, I quit my day job. I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to live in my mother's basement and do this full time. So 2009, we started looking for spaces. We signed a lease for a very small store, a little 400 square foot store in Ridgewood, Ridgewood, New Jersey. And it was a success. So all in this moment, this 2009, 2010 moment, Instagram comes about, and a lot of people aren't on Instagram. I mean, big companies weren't on Instagram. No one cared about Instagram. It was like cooler than Facebook. It was more exciting. And within the first 6 months, a few of our photos went viral on Facebook through our business account. Well, it was my account, and then I was like, I guess it's my business account now.
Did you switch the name?
I had to switch the name. I didn't even start my own Instagram account till 2015.
Wow.
I was just a business.
Yeah.
And I mean, the funniest thing about social today is it's all storytelling.
Yeah.
That's really what we were doing in 2010.
Yeah.
Because it was my life storytelling.
And you're doing it day after day after day.
After day.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Like what we're buying, where we're going, what we're eating.
That is the thing. People forget, they really do. Like they see a lot of things on social media now, you know, and that was, let me backtrack. Back then, what was so cool about it is if you had that mentality, that was how you thought to do it. You were just every second, I'm going to highlight what I'm doing and whatever, and let people take it for what it's worth.
Totally.
But it's the story. It's people buy into the story. They want to follow a journey. They want to see the come up. They want to see your progress. We talked about it a little bit before.
But I didn't know that at 26. Like I didn't know I was storytelling.
You're just doing it.
I didn't know what's, you know, like no one said to me. In fact, the storytelling concept has only been like a couple of years old that you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I am storytelling, but I don't even know, like, so many people aren't even on Instagram. Like a few of my friends were, a lot of people in the art field were, a lot of people in like photo and TV are on Instagram because it's cool, it's taking pictures. But you know, you'd say to somebody, oh, I'm posting on Instagram. They'd be like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
what
is that?
Right.
Yeah.
So like 6 months into Instagram, I'm out to sushi with me and my husband, and my appetizer's delish, you know, like we used to do. We used to snap a photo of my delicious sushi app, and it goes viral. So I was getting like, you know, 300-400 likes. Now I get like 10,000 likes on this photo.
Wow.
And you're on the popular page, and it's this whole thing. And, you know,
who's this person?
Right. Yeah. And anyone could be on that page. And like you were saying before, the algorithm was just, you just posted and it just went to the top, and you could see everybody's information. And I mean, I won't be like an old school weirdo being like, I love the old algorithm, but I love the old algorithm.
I do too. I love the chronological aspect of it first and foremost.
And I'm like, what am I missing? Like everyone's like, I posted it. I'm like, I didn't see it. You're not in my algorithm.
Nowadays we follow people and we don't even see who we follow. It's like new people, and then you click a reel. Now you're going 20 reel. Yeah.
Totally. And, so yes, I do miss the old algorithm. But in the process, I was documenting the opening of the store, which took a few months to get open. And
when this goes viral.
Gotcha. So maybe it goes viral in like July, and we open the store in October. So now people are really following us. And when we open this little teeny brick and mortar store, we have a line out the door down the street. I mean, like it was insane. Like it was so overwhelming. I mean, it was like so amazing. Like, what do we have?
What's that feeling? How did you feel? Was it like fearful, scared, wow, happy? Like was it a combination of things?
Yeah, like I mean, it was. What did I feel?
It's a lot.
Yeah, like I was living in my mother's basement. I was like, what am I doing?
But I got this storefront that's booming, right?
And like I'm doing it. Like I'm really doing it. I remember the first weekend we like sold out of everything. Like
wow.
And at this point, we were buying like from wholesalers online. We hadn't even and at trade shows, but we hadn't even gone to LA, which is like the mecca of manufacturing and apparel and fashion manufacturing for like a lot of these small boutiques. We hadn't even been there yet. So like, we didn't even know how accessible it was or wasn't. We didn't even really know how to get it. We could sell it to you. We didn't know how to get to sell to you.
Yeah.
So we opened the store. It's a huge success. I mean, it's like an overwhelming success. My husband and I move out of my mother's basement and get our own apartment. About 3 months later.
Success.
It was that
next
successful.
Week.
Yeah. We got our little apartment. We love our little apartment. It's walking distance to the store. I mean, I'm working all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like loving. I'm working 9 to 9 at the store, going home working, but so rewarding, so amazing.
Yeah.
We started hiring some sales associates so we can work on the website a little bit more. It was.
Who's doing your, like, you mentioned numbers or your thing, like, are you behind all the accounting and making sure the numbers? Yeah.
Doing everything.
How did you map all that out at such a young age without the experience? Because that's not easy. You know, that's where people mess up.
It isn't easy, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I felt like if we made more than we were spending, we were okay.
Correct.
You know, so like it was very. So the early on, the success was so crazy that it was like almost. It didn't matter how we bookkeeped for ourselves in a sense, but it was like we were making so much money and we had to spend money to hire new people, and we had to then get a warehouse to house the inventory because we had this small little store. I don't know. It kind of just fell into place. Like it all made sense to me.
Yeah. When
I was 18 or 19 and my mom was like, you're going to file your own taxes this year. I like figured out how to file my own taxes.
Wow.
So I've always been resourceful like that. Yeah. Like I've always been like, I understand it. I teach myself it. I wasn't a good student in school, but when I cared about the subject or when I really wanted to know it, I could get it.
I feel that tremendously.
So like, if I didn't want to like listen in science is because I didn't care. But then like later on, if I use the information, then I teach myself.
Yeah. You want to be invested into it spiritually, mentally. Yeah. For you to actually put the time and energy into it to like elevate it or whatever, understand it. Yeah.
Even now, like explaining things to my son, I'm like, this is why this is important. Like, this is why you're going to use math later. Like, no one said that to me. No one was like, this is why you have to know this. You know, this is why percentages are important.
So crazy thinking going back to like school and how school was. And it's not like I'm putting down school, because I think there's a lot of great aspects to why we go to school.
Totally.
But I look back and it's more like the social aspect was the benefit for me far more than it was the education that I'm being given. I wish I was taught how to budget a checkbook, how to, just life thing, anything life related would have been nice.
Socializing is still very important too.
It's huge. I mean,
it's very important.
It definitely gave me a leg up in many aspects of everything I've ever done. You know, it's kind of been the thing I can lean on every step of the way. So absolutely, there's a perk there. But life experiences that folds into life experiences. I do wish that the fine tuning of
here's
life.
why you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to do with it.
I wish there was more of that.
Totally.
Even today, because there's not.
There might be. I mean, I do think that there's been a lot of evolution in a lot of things.
Wrong.
Yeah. And like now that my son is in a public school system, it's better. I would say it's better. I mean, maybe he's in a great school, maybe. But there is more understanding of why this is important.
It's so important.
And YouTube, I mean, YouTube's good and bad.
Yeah.
But there's some YouTubers that are like doing this and doing that and explaining this and explaining that. And it's making these 8, 9, 10-year-old boys passionate about whatever.
Yeah.
Because they have the connection through YouTube.
YouTube.
Some of the YouTube stuff isn't bad, I'm telling you.
Listen, Miss Rachel taught my son a lot of things. The people have their stuff with the kids and, listen, I've watched him. He learned to count to 10 in English and Spanish from Miss Rachel. He's learned colors. He's learned there's a lot of things. Some of them are really, really good at what it is that they're doing for the kids.
Totally.
And I respect it. And I'd rather it be something in that realm, like educational. I don't need like the goofy stuff. Sometimes he gets into these shorts and he starts scrolling and it's like, and then he jumping, wall to wall. Oh God.
I wonder why. Life is balance,
It
is.
We watch
silly things on our phones all day long.
Still watch silly things.
Yeah. So like you have to, trust me, the evolution, watching them grow and picking and choosing is nothing's perfect.
How old are your kids?
My daughter's in kindergarten. She'll be 6 at the end of the month. And my son is in 3rd grade. He'll be 9 at the end of the month.
Oh, so you're in the thick of it.
I'm in grade school.
Yeah, grade school.
I'm in grade school kids.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's great. I don't think I was a baby person. I don't think I ever was really a baby person. I never really thought I'd even necessarily have kids. But now having kids and seeing them turn into these people is really cool.
And you can communicate.
Yeah, and just explain things to them. And like even with my business and growing and doing what I'm doing, they're like, oh, they get it. They get what I'm doing. They listen. They're interested. They're super part of it. So it's cool.
They have a good example too. Interestingly enough, they have a really good example of somebody who, went out and did it themselves. That's going to hold a lot of weight, especially in this world, because there's so many, it's still structure oriented and it's like, this is the way you do it. And then you do this and then you do that and then you do that. And where it's, when you tap into that space of, taking the leap or believing in yourself, and not saying you don't
do it your way,
do it your even
way.
Better,
like
even
you don't
better.
have to, when I went to Rutgers, I didn't even know I was going to get into the art program. I like nutrition, pre-med, like I was like on the science end of things. My dad was a doctor, my mom's a nutritionist, but it was not my passion. And really breaking that mold to like be like, I'm not going to do the sciences and I'm going to go on to art was really unique and really like a big daring step because where would art take me? I didn't know. I didn't really have a career path. The school I went to again was very into like art for art's sake. They weren't really teaching you to work in the art world.
Yeah.
So it was
how do you actually make this a career?
Yeah. A lot of I have a lot of later high school girls working for me, like juniors and seniors, and they're going off to college, and a lot of their college experiences is based around what job will I get. I didn't think about that. No one said that to me. I was like, they're like, get your degree. It doesn't matter. Get your degree. It didn't matter I didn't know what I was going to do. And now they're like, I'm going to get a degree in this because I'm going to get this job.
They have but they do have years.
Schools are preparing you for that.
They are. Yeah. Or somebody's in your corner too, telling you like, hey, listen, we learned.
Yeah.
It's not,
So my kids, exactly that. Like my son really likes cooking. I'm like, you want to be a chef? You want to learn to cook? You can go to culinary school. Like you can do whatever you want to do. Whatever makes you happy, you can do it. Like I'm big into that.
Yeah.
Because no one really ever said that to me. Everyone was kind of like, you got to get a job. What are you going to do? And especially when I started getting tattooed really young, they were like,
It's over.
How are you going to go to a work function with all these tattoos?
It's over.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about that. Like, I'm just like, always beat to my own drum.
You're
always did my own thing. Didn't really know how it would pan out. I still feel like everyone's 5-year plan. No, I don't even think that stuff's important. Mm-hmm. It's like day by day, week by week, month by month.
Oh man, that's so amazing. You just said that. I feel like that. I really appreciate you saying that because I think it's very important to hear. I think it's not to say you can't map things out down the road or like have an idea as to where things are going to be.
Or goals.
Yes, but be okay with if it doesn't go exactly how you thought it was going to go, the focus of those day to day, week to week is actually going to shape. Yeah, and when it's innate and it's like a feeling, it's so much more rewarding and you learn a lot through the process.
As a business owner, it's like, what are you going to do every day to be successful today? I mean, you don't want to look at what's going to happen in 3 months or 6 months. And like, you do loosely, but it's today. What's going to happen today that's important for the business?
You can't predict it.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't predict life.
You cannot predict life.
Every day is a new day. I mean, I've had so many ups and downs, and I could wake up on the hardest day and be like, but I know tomorrow's going to be different. You know?
And you're in control of it more than you...
Or not control of it.
Yeah.
Like there's no
how you
control.
React is more of what I meant. Like how you react to what comes your way. Yeah.
And in the tough weeks or months or days, I'm like, I'm in a moment and use that moment to push me through and evolve and change and grow. I mean, the thing about business, especially as I've gotten older, is that if you don't evolve and grow, you don't have a business.
There's no business. Yeah.
So my whole career has been about kind of like, all right, this is happening. All right, I'm going to go over here. All right, this is happening. All right. And like kind of just like going back and forth until, this hits. But once something hits, you got to think about the next thing that's going to hit. Like just because something hits, and I wish someone said this to me when I was 26, just because it hits right now doesn't mean it's going to hit again in 4 years.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on the moment.
And it's going to change and it's going to shift and it's going to move and you got to be ahead.
Yeah.
Not in like an anxious way, but in like
ready and prepared.
Just know, like
absolutely.
You can't ride the wave forever. Like there'll be a new wave.
Absolutely.
And there's highs and lows to those waves.
But it makes it actually easier because when those new things happen, you're not approaching it differently. You're actually approaching the new thing the same way, but you're just knowledgeable that I have to pay attention to this and capitalize on it, or capitalize on whatever it is that, happened that I didn't expect.
Yes.
For myself. That's amazing. So, all right. So back to Gypsy Warrior. Yeah. All right. So you are now a booming business. You got your apartment down the street.
I got an apartment down the street. I'm a booming business. I mean, I thought at 26 to make $1 million was like, that was like the level of success. I mean, we hit $1 million in sales in the first 7 months of that little store.
It is very impressive.
It was very impressive, but I didn't even know it was impressive.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is of course what's going to happen. Like looking back, I wish I had told my younger self to appreciate and enjoy those moments a little bit more. Because in those moments, I was like, all right, what's the next? All right, what's the next? All right, what's the next? And I think I wish I celebrated those victories because they were really quite victories. And now, having other businesses since and some doing amazing and some not doing as amazing, I'm like, wow, I wish I celebrated those victories more.
I get
I can celebrate them now.
Yeah.
So it was victorious. We had a lot of investors calling, a lot of people that wanted to get involved. I mean, people thought we had some sort of secret sauce because we were just...
How is this happening?
We couldn't stop. Like we were on fire. Like it was amazing. And we didn't have a secret sauce, but we were doing something that no one was really doing. We got online before Forever 21 had a website. We were selling online, selling, in store. We had this connection with our customer through social media, through Facebook, through Instagram, that no other brands were doing at all.
That's so crazy to think about.
Nobody.
With where it's at now.
I mean...
It's everything now.
It's everything. Nobody. So like we had our finger on the pulse. We could talk to everybody and anybody every day, all the time, whenever. And we were both so hardworking that, I mean, we would talk to them at 6 a.m. and 10 at night.
You guys are the ones communicating with your customers?
So I'm really the only one doing social. I was the only one doing social, but I mean, my partner did other things. Like we had, that was my expertise was that. And I kind of was running the business end of things. And she was a phenomenal art director. She really had her eye on fashion. I mean, together we were really a force.
Yeah.
So we ended up taking a partnership with, a silent partner, a financial guy who's supposed to help us out. And so begins a journey of a 7-year partnership that kind of ended in a way that, you know, none of us saw coming. And it wasn't a good partnership, but I was 26. I was naive.
Yeah.
I was trusting. I mean, you should be naive and trusting in a sense, but I didn't think that anyone could like screw you. I didn't think people would screw you. And like, I was screwed. And I just, you know, looking back, there was like so many red flags, but I was like, why would someone be so unkind or do the wrong thing? Or, you know, money's money and people do the wrong things. I was an amazing lesson in business, and it was an amazing run. I mean, we ended up 4 years into the business having an amazing partnership and a licensing partnership with PacSun for 2 years, which
that's big.
Oh my God. It was 50, 60, 70 million dollars in sales.
Wow.
Like,
that's
it was
huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
It was and I mean,
at a time PacSun was like
on fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Big PacSun fan back in the day.
The partnership was beautiful. It was amazing. And the relationship with them was awesome. They were all awesome. We had 8 capsules with them. I didn't even know, like looking back, I'm like, we had front facing first spot in the stores when you walked into all 600 doors.
Wow.
And I, at the time, was like, yeah, you know, like I didn't even, thinking back, I'm like, what? I was like 20 years old.
That is so massively big.
It was so massively big.
So that's a collaboration thing. They do the manufacturing, I assume?
So it's a full licensing deal.
It's
like they
Your
take on all the
there.
responsibility.
Yep.
We create, you know, I think we did about 30 to 32 SKUs per capsule. We present like 60 SKUs of different designs. Their designers would design everything with our help, and then
approval of,
then their buyers come in and buy what the styles they like, and then they manufacture that and distribute it to the stores, and they handle all of that, and then you collect a check every quarter. I mean, it was like, licensing is glorious.
That's actually the greatest.
Licensing is glorious, but you have to get to that point where you can license.
Of course, they're not coming to you. You need a name.
You need a name, and we had a name, and that name was amazing. I mean, we had a very small jewelry license as well.
Where'd you come up with Gypsy Warrior? Because the name is actually sick.
It was a great name. So my partner, my best friend from college, she was like the gypsy. She was like the hippie. She was like very earthy, and she was just this like gypsy vibe. And I was this warrior. Like I was a fighter. I'd fight through everything. Like I'd figure everything out.
That's simple.
And that was it. She was a gypsy and I was the warrior. And it was perfect. It was like we were that harmony. We had a really great run, and we had a really great business, and we had a really great friendship, and it was awesome. And it was awesome until it wasn't, because the like University of Business, which I felt like I was in during that time, like I got my MBA virtually, I learned the ins and outs of everything. Like, and when we had to close the business because we couldn't really continue on, our partner was just negligent in many ways, and it wasn't healthy. It wasn't happening. I mean, it wasn't working. And so we dissolved the company, and we moved on. We moved on. And I stayed home for a little while with my son. Now I had my son. He was a year. He was a year when I closed the company. And I was like, what am I going to do? I had such a passion for what I was doing. Like, I love fashion, and there was always a gap in the market. I would say there still is almost a gap in the market. Like, there was something very edgy would be like a Hot Topic, which was corny. You know what I mean? It had the music, it had the art, but it was corny. Yeah. And then it was like the boho side.
Like cliche.
Totally. And like mall ratty. It was like, because edgy can be cool, but that was like not cool edgy. And then you had like super awesome bohemian stuff, like a Free People, like that's Anthropologie, that side of the world, but there's nothing in the middle. Like, there's like no.
That's an interesting way to think about what you've done.
So that's where I started, like that, like in 2008, 2009, that was the passion I had. Like, there was nobody in that space.
Did you think that through, or was that just natural?
As we evolved into what we were,
you realized,
and like you're sitting in front of like board people and investors, and you
got to sell them on,
and like you're like, wait, there is a concept here. Like, this was organic and how it came together, and it really was organic and how it came together. But there was a reason it came together, and that was really the reason. And I still feel like after closing and now reopening and having a new fashion business, that is still the gap very much in the market. Yeah, like there's nothing cool, Yeah, cool, but covers grounds. Yeah, like has like a little bit.
It's not limited to a thing.
Right.
Like obviously you have your core group of.
There's brands out there that are good, but I don't think that anyone's ever really done the cool very well.
Yeah. Nobody. That's it. Who do you think has done the cool really well?
I mean, Gypsy Warrior did the cool really well.
You did.
We did
I told you my wife was like a huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like anyone else really came in and did it. Like there's, Urban Outfitters touches on it sometimes.
They do, but they've kind of.
But they're getting younger and younger.
And
as we get older and older, there's a couple brands out of the UK that are good, but
smaller brands,
super small.
That's usually the ones though
that are touching it. Yeah, I wish there was something mainstream. Like I love what I'm doing, but I've shifted so much.
Yeah, what happens? This is from a consumer standpoint, what I believe, and I mean, I do my thing too, dabble. I feel like the they pay attention. Like the big companies, they do pay attention. They see it, but they're not it. And so when you try to do it, it's never going to come across organic. And it's usually those smaller companies that are wildly organic. They're doing it because it's exactly who they are. They see it, they understand it, they feel it. They're building a community. It's unique. That was our success. Yeah,
that was our success.
It's like underground music. It's no different.
100%. It's like any industry.
Like any industry.
That was our success. We ate it. We breathed it. We lived it. I mean,
you represented it. It's you.
It was us.
Yeah,
it was us
it's huge.
To a T. And in all the years we traveled back and forth to LA, we manufactured everything in LA. I mean, I spent 3 weeks a month in LA. I was like always in LA.
So when did that point come when you started manufacturing?
Quickly. So
okay.
We took the partnership in 2011 and to 2010, and we got on a plane to LA like that day.
Gotcha.
And there's like a whole area of downtown LA that's just factory after factory after factory, and we literally just walked in and started meeting people. And, in the beginning, no one cares to work with you. But as you grow and do more units and more business and very
What do you need? What do you need?
Literally.
Yeah.
And, the gifts got bigger. Like,
of course.
You'd show up and there'd be like a $600 bottle of champagne. And,
get your name on the side.
The vendors started learning that we liked bubble tea. So we'd like show up to a meeting and there'd be a bubble tea, and then like on the fourth meeting there'd still be a bubble tea.
You start feeling good about yourself a little bit too.
You couldn't drink the bubble tea anymore though, and it's like so disrespectful to not take the gift.
Yeah.
But we drank a lot of bubble teas. But it was awesome. It was amazing. I mean, we had so much power and so much control. We could walk in and just do whatever.
Yeah.
And the biggest compliment was like so many people in the industry were copying us. Like we'd walk into Target and there'd be copies. We'd walk into Urban and there'd be copies. And we started, hiring graphic designers and assistant buyers. And these companies they'd be poached by Urban, or they'd go work for Victoria's Secret. And like all these young girls would have these like amazing jobs because we really were able to kind of bring them up with us.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
That is awesome.
At the height of it, we had like 44 employees. We had 35 people in the office.
Wow.
So we were.
Office was still in
Fairlawn. We had a big office space in Fairlawn where we did all our distribution. So
gotcha.
All our online orders went out of that.
Yeah.
It was a great facility, great space.
That is like the thought of you and how it started, and like now you got an office in Fairlawn. You got 3 locations. You're walking into factories.
It was great. It was a dream. I mean, it's a book. It's a movie. It's like it's so crazy when I think back at my experience.
That sounds like I could see a movie called Gypsy Warrior.
I think people would love it.
I think
there's a story to be told.
We need a screenwriter.
I mean, I got some. I got friends.
Like, what are you waiting for? Gypsy Warrior, this is amazing.
I have to tell you, the trauma of closing it and the ending of it was so.
That's the best one, maybe the best part of the movie.
It is, but it took 7 years to walk away. So we closed in 17. We closed in June of 17, and I mean, it really took me. How many people have asked me to do podcasts? It took me a long time to like sit down and be like, I could talk so freely.
It hurt.
So
was it because it hurt? Pain? Like what was the thing? It was
confusing. Gotcha. It took a long time to sort through what it was and what happened, and it was confusing on many levels. I mean, there was no reason for it to close. Like it shouldn't have closed in a sense, and everyone felt that way. So, I mean, it was like 3 weeks before I realized we were going to close that I was in the shower as a regular day, and I go, oh my God, if this doesn't happen, we had to find a new partner to take our old financial partner's place. If this doesn't happen, it's over. But it never dawned on me until 3 weeks before we closed that it was going to happen.
Were you just like hopeful, like optimistic?
I mean, we were on such a ride that how could it end?
Yeah.
We were on such a ride that and everybody kind of was bidding for us, that I was like, oh my God, this is like,
how could it end?
It couldn't. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it was, and I was the one that was like, well, it's over. Like, I was the one that like had to walk into work and be like, I'm done. Like, I can't sit in front of another person and pitch the company to them. And I can't
What was that day like, and what was the response?
Oh my God. Well, there was a lot of personal stuff going on that week. I forgot to add this when I was telling you this before. So that morning, we had finally found an investor that we liked. That was the whole bit. So we needed someone we liked. We found this investor we liked. He's out of Canada.
Can I ask real quick? When you say because you like, was that because the other one you knew how much you didn't like them?
We were so cautious.
So it was at the forefront of your thinking.
We were so cautious after what we had been through over those 7 years, that I was like, we needed somebody that we really vibed with. We flew up to his office in Canada. We vibed with him. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. He had good vision. He was a real guy. His other companies were long-term companies. He didn't have these like fast turnover partnerships. We trusted in him. He got spooked. I don't know why, but he called us on Friday or Saturday before. So when you get into a conversation with somebody about, buying something, you get into like a 30, 60, 90 day no compete. So nobody else can bid so we were in this like, crucial 90 days where he had 90 days.
So it was like him or nobody,
because at this point we were liquidating inventory really quickly. I mean, it was changing the evaluation of the company. Our partnership with PacSun had just ended, and it was abrupt that it ended because they filed for bankruptcy pretty abruptly. So the
timing of all of it. The timing was
bananas. Yeah. I mean, I had just had my son, so it was like really an interesting moment in my life and everything going on. So he called us and was just like, I don't know. I don't have a reason, but my gut's telling me not to invest.
Wow. And did you ever get closure
with him?
Yeah.
I mean,
have you had?
I spoke to him for a few. He's a typical guy.
What does that mean?
He's a typical guy. Then he didn't get it, and then he was worried that he made the wrong decision, but it was too late.
Yeah.
He kept in touch. I don't know why he kept in touch, but he kept in touch.
Maybe he questioned it.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he wasn't concerned about the relationship with us. It was more of a, getting the old partner out. It was a moment. It was a vibe. So he called and says, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I just took it. I took the call, took the moment. I go inside. I think I took the kids swimming that day. I come home. I'm thinking about it. It's a Saturday. And my 17-year-old Maltese that I've had since college jumps off the couch, falls over, and dies.
What?
Yeah. So my dog died.
Just jumped off the couch?
Jumped off. I mean, he was a 17-year-old dog. He was
like
not
broke a
in
hip
great
or something,
health.
or?
I mean, he was just like, it was over.
Yeah.
Life was over. He had other health. I mean, he was old dog. He dies. My whole world changes because the whole day I'm moping about what's happening. And now this like real important moment, like this dog who meant the world to me dies. And I like it. It was the perspective I needed. I mean, I'm sad he died, but it was like, it doesn't matter.
Wow. That's wild.
And like, I needed like,
it's amazing you picked up on, like you paid attention to that feeling. Cause that feeling,
it jolted me.
That's actually huge.
Thank you.
It is huge. Not small, but you know what I mean? Like something that is outside of the moment.
I mean, it just what's important.
What's important,
and that like what is important. Like where what is my life about? And losing the dog that day was just so sad and so awful. And I don't know. I mean, it definitely took me a few months to kind of pull out of the darkness. I pulled up to the office Monday. I grabbed my staff. We sat in a circle. I said, here's what's going on. No one really knew what was going on. No one really knew anything. I had to let them know that, we couldn't go on, and it was just like too much. So.
Let me hear you one more.
Hi.
Hello, check. Let me hear it again.
Hi.
Yeah, my fault.
Oh, it's okay.
That was a moment that I don't know what happened with the mic right there. Did you hear it?
It just like. Whoop.
Yeah, you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get back. We gotta get back. That was yeah.
So I go into the office. I'm like, we have to close. We do a 75% off sale. We liquidate everything on the website, and we close in 2 days. I call the landlords to let them know. I mean, there was a lot more to it in the moment, but it took about 2 weeks to really just shut it down.
Wow.
It was bananas.
Bananas. Bananas. How was everybody like? What was the response? What was the response from your employees? What was the response from people you're working with?
I mean, I had a good relationship with my store staff. My store staff was really sad. Yeah. But
probably a great place to work too. They're probably like,
we had the best.
Yeah.
We had a good time together. But everyone like was set up. You know what I mean? Like they could go on, and they did, and they all kind of did. I mean, great. Not everyone, but mostly everyone got great jobs, and I was there for the recommendations. I'm still there for the recommendations. Awesome, yeah. Like, I mean, I really loved the girls that worked for us. So yeah.
That's they got the experience needed in so many ways. Yeah.
And so did I.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Being a boss is like, it's like very intense being a boss.
Do you view yourself as you seem like somebody who would, it's like obviously the title of boss, but you seem like somebody who's like a quality leader though.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No, you do because you have a wholesomeness about you. And obviously I'm meeting you years with, you have new experiences and a lot of stuff. I'm sure your shoulders are down a little bit and we're all people. Like I haven't worked for that many people, so I don't have that much to compare it to, but I do have one boss to compare it to, and she was kind of awful. And I do feel like that I'm not going to be like that person. Yeah. And I kind of feel like she just like, it set the bar that like, I didn't want to be like that. And I just feel like, I don't know. I celebrate my staff. I have 8 girls that work for me right now and 2 managers that are full time. And they're so cool. The few times they're very,
die for them.
They're very, now getting to know you, right? This is the first time we've really sat down and talked. We met maybe twice.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, definitely once. Like all of it makes so much sense as to why, like now I can walk in there and see your employees and how they are, what the vibe is. I mean, there's certain places you walk into and it's tight, but everything is a representation of the brand, right? So some places do better when it's like, because maybe it's the feel, but yours is, there's a piece about it.
I think vibe is everything.
Vibe is everything.
I think like even if you don't buy anything that day, but you've left that store with a good vibe, you'll come back. You'll bring your mom back. You'll bring your friends back. We were talking earlier, and one of the things that it's definitely something I'm very proud of personally, and I think you'll relate to this, right? It's something I'm very proud of personally. It's also at the same time something that can be taken advantage of to some degree, but like. I don't. I love to be around people. I have to be around people. I have to be doing. I have to be. Otherwise, like if I'm home and I'm in my brain, I don't like it. It's actually bad for me, right? So active and no matter what it is I'm going through, one of the compliments that I've always gotten, and it's not like I try. I don't try to do this. You light up a room and you give an energy, and you're somebody who like it's like a confidence that they want to some degree, and I feel for people because that is innate. It's my mom, it's my dad. They've kind of like coached me, not coached me, but like that's how I was raised to be. My sister's the same way. Yeah, I do think that you have to be comfortable with yourself. I think it takes time to get there. You do. You have to, and all those humble moments, all those times that you've been, knocked off your pedestal, or you. But I feel like that also the fake it till you make it thing. Like in the time we grew this, multi-million-dollar company, I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah. So I just kind of smiled and talked, and I was very authentic and very genuine, and when we first partnered with PacSun, we had to talk in front of like 400 people. And it was like, I'd never done anything like that. And I had to all these people had to sell our brand for us. Yeah. And so we just had to come out there and be ourselves and talk about it. Yeah, because if you go in and it's business and like, and you're, But almost that like fake it till you make it moment where it's just like, you just put a smile on and go out there. Yeah. And you just show up. And and then it's almost like you don't even, then if it doesn't work out, it didn't work out for the right reasons. Totally. And that's an easier thing to cope with. And yeah. So we closed in 2017, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I definitely had like a few years of like soul searching and, working for some friends here and there and consulting here and there. And just figuring out what my next steps were. I got pregnant with my daughter. So, I was now a young mom, a new mom, and figuring out like even what that looked like. Cause your life changes now with kids and, who you are as a parent. And it's, it's like a whole nother chapter in your life. Yeah, so definitely. I don't think closing the business was the greatest thing, but I think for where I was in my life, I almost needed it. I was traveling so much. Like I said, I was in LA like all the time. I mean, my husband has so much patience with me. Like it was like, go do what you need to do. Like, I mean, I don't know what relationship would have just been like, yeah, no problem. Like be gone all the time. And I was. And so
that's beautiful though. That's needed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's a good partner, a really good partner. I mean, almost 16 years together, and I could say he's a great partner. New young mom and what that would look like and how I would be as a new young mom. I couldn't be traveling. But, after 2.5 years, I missed the space so much. Like new catalogs would come out and I'd be flipping through it. Like started to get that I was like logging into all these fashion portals just to see what was going on. I mean, I had no business really doing that, but I missed it a lot. I missed it a lot. And I had started taking enough, working for enough brands that I was like, I don't really want to work for somebody. I need to be my own. I need to do my own. I didn't want to stay up late at night thinking about another person's business. And I was, because that's how I work. So I was pregnant with my daughter. I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And I found this space in town in Westwood. And I came home to my husband like I have so many times before. And I was like, I'm going to sign a lease for this space. And he was like, what?
Random. He had no...
I mean, I was like, I'm looking.
You were looking, okay.
I'm a looker. You know what I mean? I'm always looking. Yeah. I'm always doing like... we found our first home together, but like I found the second house and I was like, we're moving. And he was like, what? I was like,
you got a good one.
Yeah. And no, I literally was like, come to this house. Yeah. If you hate it, I won't get it. But if you love it,
at least give it a shot.
And he walked through the house and he walked out of the house and he's like, you want to live here? I'll live here. And I was like, great, I want to live here. Wow. And we like packed up and moved. That's awesome. So like, yeah, he trusts me, like thankfully so. So same thing. And I was like, I'm going to have to pull this from savings. I'm going to need money for this and that. And he came and saw the space and he was like, yeah, do it. He's like, you want to do it. And I'm happy I did it because it was a huge leap this is the first business I did by myself. I'm doing by myself. Yeah. I had a best friend partner and then a financial partner. I had my ex for my first big company. So like, this is me and this is 100% me. And I didn't really, that was scary at first, but like at the age I was and with the experience I had, I was like ready to be all me, like not talk to anybody.
Yeah, the timing is right.
The timing was so right. Timing is right. So we opened up in September of 19. We had a pandemic 6 months later.
Just another.
Yeah, but you know what? We navigated it. We like, it was, I'm lucky in a sense that I already had my foundation. So like I already had a little bit of a following. I went back to social, communicated that I was doing what I was doing. Yeah. Those people still following along were excited about it. So like, I'm lucky I had that. I don't know what my world would have been like, but I don't have to know, like gratefully so. Even when I closed the business and through the time that I didn't have another store, I always was like communicating with the people, always kind of telling my story and explaining what was going on. And those that kind of followed along are still following along. And I think that having those relationships are the most important relationships for building a business. For sure. Yeah, for sure. So Hunt and Orchard, I'm curious because I asked you, Gypsy Warrior, why Hunt and Orchard? Hunt and Orchard. So in the moment,
and that's the name for anybody. Yes, yeah, Hunt and Orchard, Westwood, Broadway,
and Ridgewood, New Jersey,
and Ridgewood.
Our big stores.
Yeah, back in Ridgewood.
But Hunt and Orchard. So that moment, so we moved to the different house. It's on Orchard Street, and my son is Hunter. So in this like moment of change and this moment of like, who was I and like, what did I need? Wow. It was my son in this new space we were in. So Hunt and Orchard. These are both like great names. Thank you. They are. You couldn't have come up with them without it being something. Yeah. Totally. That's so dope. So Hunt and Orchard became this like thing in my life, and my daughter River is like, so what's River? So we'll need a River like something. Soon, I'm sure it'll come to you in the right time. Yes. Yeah. So River will tell you that if you ask her what she wants to do when she grows up, she goes, I'm going to be a mom that works at Hunt and Orchard. And I'm like, oh, like it's the cutest. Is that not the greatest? It's the greatest. My son looked up at me the other day randomly while laying on me, went like this, and he goes, Daddy, you're my hero. Oh. How do they even know what hero is? So good. When I tell you. So good. Fuck everything I've ever, everything. I know. That was. It's true. The greatest moment. And that's the shift of life. Like, I've been on this roller coaster for 20 years of owning my own businesses. And like, I've had real high highs and real low lows. But like now having kids, it's like a completely different world. It's like all about them, and it's all about, you know, who I want them to see and like what I want them to learn. And, you know, and I want them to see the best. Like, we're so lucky to be so knowledgeable. Like, it's so different than when our parents were raising us.
Oh, for sure.
And like, you know, to think about even what I've witnessed with my parents' relationship and all the things that happened there, like, my kids won't, like, we're so much healthier. There's so much less toxicity, you know, like we will raise them so differently.
That's the way it's supposed to be, though, because you know what, you look back and your parents did as good of a job as they could in so many ways. Obviously, everybody has their ups and their downs and whatever, but like nothing's perfect, but they're going through it for the first time too. Right. And when you start to realize that, especially when your parents, like my parents raised me when they were kids, they're new, they don't know, you know,
1000%.
So it's a really good perspective. It's supposed to always evolve, give your the next generation a bigger.
We just have such great tools.
We have great tools.
Such great tools.
Oh, they could be a detriment if not coached through.
Totally.
But like anything.
And I mean, not all of us, like, you know, as we get older, we can choose to be healthy or not healthy.
Correct. Like, it is ultimately you.
Yeah. So like, you know, hopefully people are using those tools and they are, you know, raising their kids right. But I feel like for me and for the life I've lived and the roller coasters I've been on, I'm just grateful to be on this roller coaster. And with your kids, there's ups and downs too, you know. It's great to
definitely.
And trust me, when they get into grade school, ups and downs. Like, oh my goodness.
I'm gonna milk the time I have right now. 3 is he's crazy, don't get me wrong, he has a lot of energy, but
you can control so much, like you know, like you can like really, but at some point you got to be like, go fly. And
when I'm also to the point where it's like, all right, I really need you to communicate with me a little better. Like, I need to have you understand what it is I'm saying. Like, we're in that weird little.
That's great. Feel like 5.
Yeah, 5 is.
Five's great.
That's my dog.
Like River wants to like sit and read together. She's like, here's your book, and she wants to sit with her book. And like, that's a moment where I'm like, life, there's nothing better than this moment.
There's nothing better than that moment.
You know, when you talk about measuring success, like, you know, what was success at 26? Like, making $1 million was success. Like, what's success? Even today, like, what is success? And like, to me, that's become my success. Like, the kids want to hang with me, they want to read with me, they want to do with me. Like, that's my success.
That is beautiful. And that's the best.
Yeah.
So great. It's what is the definition of success?
Yeah. And how will it change and how much it changes?
Yeah.
And
it's personal too. But success is personal. It's not. There's not a this is success.
Yes.
Success is how you feel.
And like you know, the gratitude aspect of the success. Like, I think people have to go back to just being grateful for the day, being grateful for the moment. I mean,
it's overlooked too often.
I've met with so many entrepreneurs that are doing well, but you know, the slightest setbacks, it's like detrimental. And I'm like, you have to go back through what you've already gone through. You have to celebrate. I think that's been my whole bit from this podcast, but you have to celebrate these achievements, because there are going to be moments that suck.
Yeah.
But there are going to be achievements that if you don't remind yourself of those achievements, then what is it all worth, you know?
That is that's a great way to kind of close this out. Because I think that is a cap off as to who you are, your story, your experience. It's a great thing to leave people with. You know, those that are whatever, whether you're going to school and you're getting a degree and you have an idea as to where you're going to go work for whatever company, or you're ambitious, you know, you want to go chase your dreams, do it the way you want to do it. I mean, however it is, I think that's a great takeaway to celebrate your wins, learn through your experiences, you know, the humbling experiences, take heed to them, understand them. Things are going to hurt. You're going to have your ebbs and your flows. You're going to have your ups and your downs. But somebody who has been very successful as an entrepreneur, somebody who has been very successful as a mother, you know, a wife, somebody in life who has found success in so many different ways, overcome a lot of different things. It's good for people to hear it, because, you know, to your kids and to the many watching, you know, you along your way, they do look at you like that, you know, and it's good to have good role models. So
Thanks.
You are
trying.
You're a special person.
Thank you. Oh my God.
No, you're dope. You're really dope. And you're and listen, I'm an ambitious person too. I'm learning, strangely enough, through you too, through this conversation.
I mean, we're all learning every day.
We are. And everybody should be learning every single day. Humble yourself. The
best entrepreneurs are learning every day.
The best of the best are learning every single day.
And being open to learning. Because so many people are so stuck in their ways. Being open to learning.
Be open to learning. All right, so where can everybody find you on social media? You're Hunt and Orchard. You don't have to get at your personal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can if you want.
Hunt and Orchard. Well, yeah. I'm an open book.
Michel.
I'm an open book. But yeah, Hunt and Orchard, at Hunt and Orchard on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok.
We'll throw it up right here.
Thank you.
Bang. And then Broadway, Westwood. Where are you in Ridgewood again?
I'm on Cottage, so I'm just off the main road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to work at Gen Sushi. Do you know that? Do you remember Gen Sushi?
I love Gen Sushi. Gen Sushi's still there.
No, it's in Montvale only now.
Oh.
It's Bear Burger now, I think.
You're right. I know exactly where Bear Burger was.
Yeah, where Bear
Burger was.
Burger was.
That was a good
Gen
one.
Sushi.
We were definitely there. We lived in Ridgewood for so long.
You probably saw me.
Yeah.
I was delivering food. I was 22, 23, maybe 24.
Delivery job's a great job.
Side job while trying to rap. No, Michelle, I really appreciate
Always
you coming
hustling.
by.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Dream chasing, one more time.